Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent live from the Atzenhofer studio as we are every Monday through Friday. 100 years Atzenhofer's been in business.
Over 100 years. This is a South Texas tradition for over 100 years. That's their tagline of the day.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Hay Feed and Ranch Services. Stopping by for all you need for your yard, your garden, your pets, your pests, livestock. They've got it all.
Just checking in with a friend of mine who lives in Elkhart, Indiana. Elkhart being just right there by South Bend. If you come around, it's amazing. I've been on an airplane coming into Midway in Chicago on Southwest, and you realize how small the world really is because you can literally from maybe, 10,000 feet, from 10,000 feet, you can see the entire curve of the bottom of Lake Michigan. I mean, you see how Lake Michigan is on the map, and it dips into that southeast side is Indiana.
Yeah.
And you can just see the whole curve. In my mind, it'd be like you see this western shore, and then, the lake would disappear in the you see the whole curve. And so if you leave Chicago and go down through Gary, Indiana, and then you cut over on the toll road, then you get over to the South Bend area. And I just checked in with these folks because overnight in a storm that's 1,300 miles plus, I don't know if you knew this, but from Texas, like all the way to Michigan, there was a band of storms and horrific in Illinois.
Tornadoes?
Bad tornadoes. And I guess it would be one of my bigger fears. With a hurricane, you've got time to react and leave. With a tornado,
You got nothing.
and it happens right at dark. Can you imagine in the dark and hearing a train coming at your house? I mean, we don't even talk about it here. I know you go get in the bathtub, you get in an interior closet so that you're buried in the middle of the house
So
when they come to look
find
for
you for 4 days.
Wow. But since we've gone off.
So how are they?
They really just checked in and said, thanks for checking. We had, that it was bad when they don't say, oh, we're fine. They said, well, we had warnings and there were tornadoes touched down 15 miles from here, and it was bad. It's really billions of dollars worth of damage. 72 degrees and only cloudy in Victoria, not tornadic. Heading to a high today of 83. Pretty good chance of rain at 8 and 9. And then the sun comes out around 1 p.m. this afternoon, and the sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow, there will be sun. Same as Friday, same as Saturday. Highs below 80, sun out.
We had thunderstorms about 3 o'clock this morning. We weren't part of that. We were sort of associated with that storm, but not we weren't part of the major band.
The greens will be soft. I recommend playing golf Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday. The greens will be soft due to the moisture. They may even be slow depending on where you play because of a lack of ability to mow them. It's a good time to just aim it and hit it at the back of the hole and let's go.
There you go. Stephanie Connie, Ricky King, Mark Kurtz on the podium this morning. It is Caldo Wednesday. Thank you, Bobby Leister, for the reminder. Get into Veracruz for all the great Mexican food plus the Caldo today. Simply the best Mexican food in town.
There's no doubt about it. And those of you that did not take our advice, and I realize, honestly, it's probably 90% of you did not take our advice. Joke's on you, because with this rain that we just got and with this 3 or 4 days of moderate temperatures, all the things that AT Deerland Feed could have helped you pre-emerge, they're going to emerge. And you will be paying the grass burr toll tax. It's coming.
Sherry Jacobs, Scott Tomko, Rena Scherer, good morning. Greg Garcia, Tammy Keeling checking in, John Anderson, Linda Christ, Cody Bauman, Myra Mickish.
Hi, Cody.
BJ Nelson, Patrick Strauss checking in.
Why does
Heather
BJ
Stewart.
say sound? We've got sound, video. We've got all that.
Scott Tomko, Justin Glass, Lisa Poole, Andrew Alvarez, good morning. Scott
All good.
Snow checking
All good,
in.
brother.
So, Lorena Bargenbrook.
Start me off with one of those just go into your repertoire for the day and start me off with one of those. What do you make of? Give me a what do you make?
What do you make of the Strait of Hormuz still being controlled by Iran when there's been media reports saying that we've sunk their entire navy? And
I think it's possible that they're controlling that land-based, but I find it implausible if the intelligence has been what we claim it has been, if the government is telling us the truth. How do we, in an area so geographically compact, how do we not know where their defenses or their aggressive positions regarding the strait are? How do we not know that
we don't have troops on the ground?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't say that you sacrifice a ship. I think you escort maybe tankers through the strait.
Well, I think the only ones getting through right now are Chinese.
Yeah.
Not just those going to China with oil, but those coming with, from what I heard this morning, the necessary components that China supplies for missiles to be able to fly.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think if you went in and if any missile ever left its launch, you would think that we would destroy it immediately, but what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, supposedly we did destroy some mine-laying boats in and around the strait yesterday.
Wouldn't that be Iranian Navy? I thought we had destroyed their Navy.
I did too.
Jennifer Rayburn had something interesting going on up there. I want to read because she's always very, very sharp young lady. Says, same song, different verse. The water situation is looking so dismal in Corpus. Remember you heard that here a long time ago. That Abbott threatens a state government takeover of the city. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Well, that'll make it rain.
My original thought is unless Greg is going to relieve himself, maybe levitate off of that chair and do some type of native rain dance, I don't see how the state taking it over and somehow blaming Corpus Christi for running out of water is going to benefit Corpus Christi. Unless he shows up in a bunch of water trucks to take it over.
Isn't that partly Abbott's fault when you open up the state for new business and you want to attract new business?
Didn't you learn from Sid Miller? Didn't you learn from Sid Miller? Do not say anything negative about the governor. We'll be off the air in a matter of days. I'm not upset with Greg Abbott, but if you've got a solution that you can implement when you take over the city, why not just implement it kind of under the good neighbor policy? The other places that I see the state taking over, like school districts, the implication, correct me if I'm wrong in your opinion, the implication is that the leadership is inept. I don't find, as much as I like to poke fun at Corpus Christi, I find their leadership right on top of this problem. I don't find their leadership inept. I find their hands tied to a degree by a lack of money. If the state wants to help, maybe they could take some of that multi-billion-dollar surplus and help its citizens get things like water. That might be a good thing to spend some of that money on.
Might be.
But I don't understand, Ash. Why would you deem the city's leadership, for example, inept when their industry is blowing and going, their port is growing, that's hence their water demands? Who's been less responsible? Corpus Christi for growing their infrastructure, or the Austin Edwards Aquifer Corridor allowing New Braunfels to become like the fourth largest city in the world over nothing? I don't understand. There's another comment by Jennifer down below, and I hope it's related. Okay, he cites mismanagement. The city of Sinton won't engage with Corpus over groundwater talks due to information withholding. So says Sinton. I'm not.
Abbott says that the state will go in and micromanage that city, but they have a little more time. That's what he said in his
So he's kind of
yesterday.
being Trump. He's kind of, I'll give you 10 to 15 days to solve your problems amongst yourselves, harumph, or I will come in and take over your city. Is that what you're hearing?
Kind of what I'm hearing. Yeah.
So on the 10th day, wheels up and then wheels on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. By the way, Sinton, which used to just be, Sinton was to Corpus what Bloomington is to Victoria. Sinton got a steel plant. Sinton got some other things. And now Sinton's booming. They're building a couple of master planned communities. Sinton thinks that they're something right now. So I could see them trying to leverage. It's kind of like Cuero with Eagleford Shale money. All of a sudden they think, oh, Victoria, what a dump. Okay, I'm with you. You're still Sinton. Bob Constantine says Corpus should have built a desalt plant years ago. I don't disagree. What did Caden, my son's always pretty sharp. Professor Governor X won't stand it. Now, I'm lost, Caden. You'll have to clarify. Governor X. I don't know. We don't know. Oh, wait, no. So, look, H.R. Mallory lives in Corpus. He's one of our guys. He would also probably be integral to the takeover of Corpus by the state, being that he is an employee of the state. The state already gave the city of Corpus Christi a bunch of money, and here we are. So H.R. totally bought in, about to be part of the takeover. Okay. Jennifer Rayburn says, I'm sure it's clarifying. Down a little bit. TEA taking over districts is abysmal. Ask Beaumont how that worked out. Second state takeover of a school district in a decade. Houston needs to be taken over. They're inept. Oh, he's doing something from Marvel, Professor X.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you, Caden. Look, Cody Bauman, who thinks like a child. X is X-Men, and he was in a wheelchair. Hence Abbott. Oh, and Jennifer, on top of knowing everything about everything, also knows it's an X-Men nod.
Yeah, I never saw it.
I'd never seen it. We're too busy monitoring what's really going on to equate fantasy to reality. Bob Constantine says Corpus Christi city government is crooked. I'd like to welcome those of you listening to us on KTMV down in Corpus Christi. Bob Constantine thinks you're crooked. And unless you've ever done business with them yourself, you'll never know yourself. Sounds like a man who's done business with the city of Corpus.
Yeah, according to the Sinton city manager, there are, I guess, permits for the TCEQ that could be available that would add about 27 million gallons per day of groundwater.
Where does Sinton have 27 million gallons?
Where does the state have 27 million gallons of groundwater?
I mean, I guess
the Frio's been a trickle for years.
Yeah, and they're all post-dam trickles. So
Lake Corpus Christi is at its historic low.
All-time low. I bet you if you went to Choke Canyon right now outside of Three Rivers where you can't launch a boat, but if you could pack a kayak out to where the water is, I guarantee you could just catch fish.
I think that and Lake Corpus Christi both below 10%.
Yeah.
But I think there's only one true natural lake in Texas. All the rest are man-made.
Caddo.
So
Caddo Lake.
I don't know which
is
one
natural.
it is.
Don't be criticizing our lakes. What are you going to tell us now? Calgary's got a lot of natural lakes.
No, not really, but west of there.
In the other part of Canada that y'all own? I thought Alberta was west.
It is, but you got British Columbia even further west.
A? Yeah. Give me an A or something.
A?
Okay. All right.
So according to...
Good reference, Caden, on X-Men.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Over our heads.
Cody, though. Cody knows that. He's got a PlayStation 2.
According to Sinton City's manager, the Western well field could provide 6 million gallons per day,
That's not many, really.
with an additional 6 million expected by the end of March of this year and 5 million more by the end of April. So they've got, quick math, 17 million gallons a day available within the next 2 months.
Way to bring the math.
Thank you.
By the way, just for reference, the desal plant that they were planning to put in down at Rivera was going to deal with 40 million gallons a day and produce 10 million gallons a day. And they're not trying to produce, is it potable or potable water?
Potable.
Potable water, that's Canadian. You discount that by a factor of 0.7 to get the gallons. If you can produce water that can be used in the plants, in the commercial sector, then the water that the city produces can be used by the citizens.
So if there's, according to Sinton City manager, 17 million gallons a day available and could be available by the end of April, why is TCEQ not releasing it, not going to grant the permits?
I don't know. Look at that. H.R. Mallory. Texas gave the city of Corpus Christi $750 million for water issues. Water is an everyone issue, but Corpus' solution is to go get it from the neighboring county. See, the problem is, and Amanda King with a solid.
Is that Jim Wells County?
She says, I don't blame Sinton for wanting more info. It sounded to me like Corpus Christi said, pass it first, and then we'll tell you what's in it. There's no doubt Corpus, I was being somewhat facetious by making it sound like I didn't know Corpus Christi politics was a mess. It is a mess. It's historically a mess. Corpus has always been a city that was kind of run in like sometimes 3, sometimes 4 little sub-segments that are almost like warring families. And it's a very childish and backwards political situation down there. But they've never had, like I'll just tell you this. If Corpus Christi would have ever had a mayor like Henry Cisneros was in San Antonio, charismatic, outspoken, unifying, and I don't even agree with most of Henry's politics, Corpus Christi would be the gem, the garden spot on the Texas coast. Corpus Christi has so much more to offer than Galveston, infinitely more to offer than Galveston, and it's a dump. Corpus is a dump. Just is. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
You put $1 billion bridge in that community and doubled its value.
Maybe that's what we need, a bridge.
Right down there by Moo, like at Moody,
Yeah.
just like 2 cables.
it.
We could do it with rope. It'd be cheaper.
Good.
Rope
Maybe make
and,
it an old covered bridge.
rope and old railroad ties. The bridges of Victoria County.
So,
Wow. Tammy Wynn says, well, they need to do something. Pay some cedars or rain dancers. They're draining on our resources here because the LNRA are greedy and selling our lake dry.
well, I mean, is that part of the problem that we've established all these river authorities and taken away, I mean, you know, taking away the water rights from private owners who happen to be along those rivers,
Yeah.
charged them for stealing the river water when they diverted it and needed it. I don't know.
How about that? Kelly Fromey says there's actually a line of sweatshirts and caps that say Crooked Christie. Now that's funny.
Boy, Chris Christie just needs to be their mayor.
Let's see. Jennifer Rayburn comes in. She's emphatic. Capitalization, punctuation a little off, but I'll try to muddle through. We need her to start fact checking, spell checking. You can tell everything you need to know about a community by driving into a parking lot of any shopping center. If you have to dodge dirty diapers to get into the store, time to turn around and go home. No doubt about it.
Sounds like Victoria.
Well, and some of that's cultural. Welcome our huge fan base on Magic 95.9. It is cultural. There are lots of folks who simply do leave diapers in the trash can. There are folks that don't flush toilet paper. I don't know.
Folks that don't put their trash in trash cans.
Yes,
They
lots
just
of
dump
it.
it out their windows.
It'll sound to most of you like a completely foreign thing to do, but I was an adult. I mean, it was 30 years ago, maybe longer, when I made the simple commitment to no longer litter. I was in the habit of, I'm talking about not littering to the point that when I walk out of HEB and I take my receipt and
Yep.
I always try to make it into that trash can right there on the right, if I miss, I always go pick it up and put it in the trash can. Like I'm the guy that doesn't take off a blow pop wrapper and just let it blow off into the wind. I put stuff in the floorboard of my car and then I dump it when I get home. There are lots of people who just don't operate that way. They think that
Or they throw it in the back of their pickup truck and let
Yeah.
God sort it out.
Yeah, well, I've literally pulled up next to people who I've seen just dump stuff out of there. I've seen people just take their ashtray and just dump wrappers and say, I pulled up beside them and go, don't do that again.
I mean, as fun as we like to make of Oklahoma, Oklahoma is 100 times
Cleaner.
a cleaner state.
Do you
than
think
Texas
some of
when
that
you-
is the culture of the Native American? Is some of that
No, I think it's just people there seem to care more about their state and not making a dumping ground. I mean, I think
it may
you
be
know,
a trailer
for-
park,
for-
but it's a dang nice
yeah,
trailer park.
For all the awards that don't mess, what was it?
Don't mess with Texas.
Won as a slogan. It's probably the least effective marketing campaign ever
Yeah, no doubt.
because too many don't abide by it.
We're just kind of going down put down our home state. We've compared our governor to a sympathetic
X-Men
fantasy
character.
figure. Let's just take a quick break and try
Well,
to
let's
regroup.
do it. Let's tell you about Atzenoffer. My used car of the week this week
That's
is
a nice
very
looking
nice
Chevy Malibu.
2024 Chevy Malibu, 45,000 miles.
2024. It's 27 miles in the city, 35 on the highway, and it's how much?
18th grand. I'm going to share it for you. so
I'm
you
going
can
to tell
see
you,
this.
and I'm not making fun of anybody because Lord knows, I've driven some clunkers. This is a nice car. It's a nice look. Can you get it up there?
Here, it's right there.
Nice looking car. It's white, popular color, easy to get. By the way, the most popular color or lack thereof on the planet, white cars. Under $20,000 and 45,000 miles on this little booger is no big deal.
No, 18,554 is the price on it. At
You can
Atzenoffer
cut a
today.
better deal than that. Go in there and say, would you take 18 flat for it? It's got a 4-cylinder engine, automatic transmission.
27 on the city, 35 on the highway.
You can't beat it.
Great car for
40 for
kid
great
going to school.
college kid.
There you go. Yep,
Tell you
absolutely.
what, great car for me on the
There's
highway.
all the details for it too.
Yeah.
There you go. Give him a call. Check it out today.
How about that? Torn Bales, thank you. Can you get me a contact? And I mean, I know I can find him, but I like to sub out menial tasks. You need to have Corpus Christi Commissioner Brent Chesney on the program. He's a great guy and a straight shooter. I'll do it. You get me in touch with said individual, and I will make him famous. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. We got a date for March yet?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, well, we'll get back to you,
We'll
folks.
figure that out next week.
But between now and then, thousands of dollars given away, earned every day by those of you that play the games. Get in and play games of skill and chance. Have fun at Palace Bingo while supporting 7 local charities. Caden told me yesterday the chopping block was kind of boring today, Dad. And I said, why? He goes, everything was $3.99. He said, half chickens, chicken wings. Today is Wacky Wing Wednesday. Get in and cut yourself a better deal. All the chicken was $3.99. Sometimes you need a breast. Sometimes you need a thigh. And I'm still talking about chicken. You need those things. And I recommend you get into the chopping block. They're doing a great job there. The food is always fresh. And again, Dawn said the other day, and part of me says she's wrong, but my eyes don't lie. Dawn has said to me, she goes, I'm never buying ground meat anywhere else again. She goes, I make these burgers and they just don't shrink. And the folks at Chopping Block tell me they're 80-20, which means the fat ought to render. And,
should, you would think, but it doesn't.
They are fantastic. Great hearty beef flavor. White Trash Services, I visited with Scott and BJ Nelson yesterday. I'm one of the few people that gets to see Scott Nelson full-faced. Most of the time, he hides behind the fence like Wilson, hides behind a stack of $100 bills. That high. But White Trash is giving those dollars away. Sign a 1, 2, or 3 year service agreement. I don't even think you have to sign anything. Commit to it. $25, $50, $100 to your local volunteer fire department. Over $26,000 given away year to date. Chesnick Furniture. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Go by and see Bobby Leon and his team. They are the nicest people. They are there to help you. In fact, I've heard Bobby talk to people and say, are you sure you want to do that? I know your children are young because I can see them climbing all over my furniture with their muddy feet. And I just want you to know that, there's not enough, what do you call it? You spray it?
Scotch Guard.
There's not enough Scotch Guard on the planet to take care of that light gray sofa you want. Let's go with something leather.
Yeah. Tommy Kingston says when his wife and he were dating, he threw a gum wrapper out the window. His wife went livid. Guess what he hasn't done since?
Yeah, well, Tommy, I know that I've known you a long time, and I know for a fact that there's a lot of things you haven't done since you and your wife got married, and I think that she's got a really good control on you, and just like me, our wives keep us out of trouble. But isn't it interesting how, I don't know why, and I'm not this guy. Well, I guess I am to a degree. You ever seen anybody, the worst person about, ooh, gross, don't light up a cigarette? Yeah. That guy used to smoke. The reformed smoker is the most incorrigible bore ever among those that smoke. And it's the same way with litter. I'm just not tolerant of it anymore. But, yes, if you have a diaper, if your kid, or if your husband poops himself, put it in the trash somewhere. Don't leave it in the parking lot.
So let's switch to Iran. 3 ships attacked or hit by unknown projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz today. One of them, a ship from Thailand, a Thailand-flagged vessel. They are looking for the crew members from that one. Apparently, the U.S. hit over a dozen Iranian mine-laying vessels yesterday and said there would be huge consequences if Iran attempted to block ships from moving through the strait. So, about the only ones, as I heard this morning, that are being allowed to pass through untouched, unscathed, are ships going to or from China. So, we'll see what happens as they're apparently tankers and other ships going through the strait are being attacked. Of course, those aren't going to be, I would have a hard time believing that these ships are being attacked by the U.S., Israel, or anyone else. I'm pretty sure it's all Iran doing all the dirty work, which is interesting. Unknown projectiles. Why don't we just call it like it is? Iran attacked these ships. We're going to know that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
No, you're not. You're over there doing something, texting somebody.
It's what I'm doing is a lot more important than talking about hypotheticals about who might have bombed a ship. I don't believe that Israel shot ships just to keep us in the war. These conspiracy nuts are just crazy. I reached out to somebody because I'm just that proactive. And I'm hopeful that this person reaches back. I do things to try to impress you. My prowess at getting answers.
Nice.
Uncontested in this region.
I want to read something to you. What do you make of this, folks? This is where we are in the world of journalism. And CNN, in reporting yesterday on the weekend, on
give me one of those. You lost your mind.
On the 2 idiots, the
not
ISIS
us.
terrorists, not us.
Oh, the guy that looked like Gene Simmons' love child.
So this was CNN, and then somebody over there finally got the right of mind to go, hey, that's probably shouldn't have put that out there like that. This is the first two paragraphs. Listen to this. CNN on X. Two Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather.
They're making it like a human interest piece.
Yeah. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change. No, their lives were changed the minute they woke up and decided to do this. It's not like they just did this on a whim and grabbed a bunch of cotton candy and ate so much they threw up on the Jersey Shore.
They're portraying them as just a couple of hapless kids, and they're not kids. They were grown men.
18 and 19.
Yeah.
Old enough to go to war, but apparently when they're ISIS terrorists, we've got to paint them in a friendly fashion.
Yeah, they were your friendly neighborhood terrorists. Yeah.
But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zoran Mamdani's home.
Yeah, and CNN, very quick, it's an anti-Muslim protest. They do everything they can to make it so that the Muslims are the victims.
Maybe it was a bunch of people just protesting Mamdani's stupid policies. I don't know. I don't care enough about New York politics. But
he's failing badly.
The fact that CNN tried to paint these as just two teenagers caught up in a groundswell of emotion throwing homemade bombs at protesters. Come on, CNN.
I don't remember the last time I just threw a homemade bomb just because I was a little bit, upset.
I don't think I've ever thrown a homemade bomb.
Yeah. No, I've thrown,
cherry bomb once in a while.
Bombs that other people made for me. Sure.
Huh. But that's where we are, and then everybody on the left gets mad when Trump calls them fake news. It's about as fake as you can get. You tried to turn these idiot terrorists into sympathetic figures, and this is what they're doing. It's the same thing they've done with the protesters in Minnesota, eh?
Hey.
Painted them as, well, a mom of three. You forgot to mention 2 of her kids were taken from her, and she's a useless piece of white trash.
You have never heard anyone as publicly humiliated to the point that I thought it bordered on being unprofessional. Publicly humiliated as Tim Walz. The Democrats, like Kamala, can fantasize about running for president again, and that's cute. That's novel. Tim Walz is a loser to the Democrats, and he is out. And it is unbelievable. There was a congressperson the other day questioning him and saying, look, everybody knows that when Barack Obama ran for president, he wanted to get somebody who wasn't as smart as him, wasn't as acceptable as him publicly, and was no threat to his agenda. So he picked Joe Biden. Joe Biden followed that winning idea by getting somebody dumber than him, who was no threat to make him look bad, who could just follow along, and that was Kamala Harris. And they said, now, Governor, after seeing all the fraud in Minnesota, it's obvious why Kamala Harris chose you. Because you were dumber, less attractive, and in no way a fear to obscure her message. Tim Walz just sat there and went, oh, I don't know why she chose me. That guy is, look, this is what they said about him in Congress, and I agree with this wholeheartedly. Like one group, a group that was something about, it was something like a benign or something that was like a vague, feed our children. I just made that up. Feed our children. One year they got $2 million. The next year they got $230 million. And he goes, well, it was COVID. Really? That's what it was. $230 million. And they're saying the general consensus in Congress as they literally interrogate Tim Walz is Either you're in on it because fraud of this epic a nature needs an inside person helping them, coordinating, steering them in the right places to get all the money. You're either in on it or so inept that you had no business ever being governor of Minnesota.
Well, he was warned about this years ago and did nothing about it.
Well, it is unbelievable. By the way, our own Michael Cloud just completely schooled a woke, those people that show up, and she showed up on behalf of the Democrats with her purple sash because she was a pastor. And Michael just completely schooled her about a passage in Matthew 25. And she, at one point he asked her, he goes, well, what did Jesus say to those people? And she goes, I don't have a Bible in front of me. And he goes, well, you're a pastor, right? Like, you don't know the story of Jesus in Matthew? Okay, sure. Just got it on the record that she was just a fake preacher, purely there to make the Democrats look somewhat religious.
Jordan Bale says Democrats' bench is weak. Well, think about their playbook. They tried it with Beto, charismatic guy that can smile and make you seem like you should like him, so you should vote for him. Gets trounced in the last election that he ran. He's disappeared.
Yeah.
So they bring out Beto 2.0 and James Tellerico. He trounces Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine claims it was racism and
She's
Republicans
so stupid.
voting in Democrat primaries to keep her from winning.
Oh, yeah, but she's such a tragic idiot.
That's what Democrats do. They actually go vote in Republican primaries to skew the Republican primaries.
I finally heard someone, I don't think it was Sean, it was Sean Hannity. After, y'all pick, I've been doing it for 18 months. After 18 months of me telling you that Jasmine Crockett was pandering to the wrong demographic, that her putting on, after her private school education, growing up in Missouri,
living off a trust fund,
that the idea that she came in and started with the yo, doing Mo in 24, and that fake ghetto narrative, that fake, when you appropriate Ebonics, it is a slap in the face to even the most remotely educated black person. If I were to walk up to a black person and go, "What's up, my homie?" then he knows I'm mocking him. He knows I'm mocking him. I'm going to talk to you in a way because I knows you can't be getting on no computer. Then he thinks I'm Joe Biden. The reality is Jasmine Crockett pandered to a group that could not get her elected. The people that talk like that don't vote.
Well, this is what they do, though. They think that all you have to do is act a certain way, look a certain way, like James Tellerico. It's all style over substance with the Democrat Party.
But it's bad
and it's
style.
not working.
It's the 10% style. They're on the wrong side of every 90-10 issue. James Tellerico telling Texans that I'm not trying to bring up your bad memories from this last quarter. There's either 6 or 7 different genders. Now that
transgender
that's just
should have.
Oh, yeah, transgender males,
women should have rights to abortion care.
The dude that thinks he's a man, the guy with the bits under his dress should have abortion care. You know what? I tell you what I'll do. Here's what I'll do.
But here's the thing.
I'm going to change places with you.
But the mainstream media doesn't even cover all of those gaps. They just worry about, he's a preacher's son.
Oh, yeah, not to mention
was adopted as a young boy when he was placed in a foster home. I mean, there's nothing
his
about
real parents
any
got
of
rid of him because he was so stupid. Here's the thing. I'm going to flip-flop on you.
All right.
I've been pro-life forever. I'm changing it. I am pro-choice for any transgender male who's becoming a woman. If they need an abortion, I will pay for it. out of the goodness of my heart to show that I'm willing to cross the aisle. If you're a man that's having a baby, if somehow you got pregnant and you just don't want it, I'll pay for that abortion. In fact, I'll perform it. Come to my house. I've got some loppers. I'll help you. We'll cauterize it.
There you go.
There you have it.
Yeah, Andrew Alvarez points out that Tallarico says God is non-binary.
Yeah, but the problem is, you know, it's interesting.
This is a guy who says his career ambition is to become a preacher. Go be the preacher. Stay out of politics, you idiot.
So, Andrew, my take on that is there are things that exist in the world that are in the universe that I don't understand. I accept that we worship a triune God, right? God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. I recognize that God is God and Jesus is his only son, and that the Holy Spirit is the intercessor that enters your soul. I accept all that, but I don't understand it. I accept that the Bible, even though it comes off as potentially chauvinistic, oh, well, of course, the Bible was written by men at a time when women couldn't talk. When the Bible says that God created man in his own image, I don't know exactly what that means. And I don't picture God looking like a man. I actually picture God, for better or worse, as almost like a fog, like a presence. But it's folly to picture God, because who am I to try to picture something infinite? But at the same time, I accept that God made man, quote unquote, in his image, and then took from man to make woman, not making her subservient, making them partners. And I mean, it's very romantic. We can go into the Corinthians if you want. But the idea that you need to, in the name of God, in the name of your theology, in the name of your presence as a pastor, declare that God's non-binary. No, that is not the case at all. God is, I am. Don't bring that into partisan politics and people that say I'm non-binary. I'm not he, him, they. I'm they. That has nothing to do with God. It's an abomination to God.
Bad English, too.
That's exactly right. So there you have it.
Take another break? I'm out of coffee already.
Wow. Folks, if you need a good cup of coffee, get by Paravita Wellness, the Wellness Cafe, the Vita Cafe. I'm sure they've got you some coffee, maybe 3 fingers of bourbon in
We've got great smoothies at Paravita Wellness, too.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Get by today. I went by yesterday, picked up my meals, saw Erica Briggs. She said, I need to come back on the program. I said, you do. You're a fan favorite. You do great. You always have good things
To feed us and
to share
with us, yep.
Absolutely. Please come on. Went Services, Went for all your electrical needs, generators, plugs, hooking up your Generac American.
If you have an EV,
generator.
they can install the EV charger if you want. They can do all that stuff for you.
Absolutely. Andrew Alvarez says, I'm so glad to see your biblical common sense. Well, thank you, sir. I was raised right. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen's is your go-to tow-to. That didn't just come out of nowhere.
No.
We made that up.
But they just show up out of nowhere. They're all over the region.
They're fantastic.
They've got trucks stationed in Cuero, Gonzales, Refugio. They are quickly willing to get to you wherever you are within the region, the sound of our voice.
If you're in any
Allen's
of the
can serve
counties
you. Yep.
of the No Bull Network, Calhoun, DeWitt, Goliad, Carnes, Gonzales, Atascosa B, Frio, Jim Hogg, Victoria, they can have a 75-ton crane to you to get your latest gaff off the shoulder. Call them. USA Concrete Coatings, 578-HOME.
Charlie Garcia and his gang come out.
Put down
Level
a
it.
tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't.
Crack six, peel or fade.
There you have it. They can also put down a pool deck. I always pictured a craft room that had shag carpet in it until you drop that one pin that you can't find.
Well,
They're
you
there
find
to
it
help.
all right in the bottom of your foot eventually.
Absolutely. First State Bank of Louise Astros update. Today we defer to the World Baseball Challenge. Is that what it's called?
World Baseball Classic.
Whatever.
Biggest upset ever in World Baseball Classic history last night.
Italy beat The U.S.?
8-6.
Is that an epic upset?
Well, I think it would be if more than just 3 of them were actually Italians.
Nobody's Italian. They like, I dated an Italian girl. Good, you were with the blue team. Yeah. I've got a monobrow. You're over there.
This is how this has been for the World Baseball Classic. Israel and Italy, I think, have 3 people on their teams actually born in their countries. They're probably on the end of the bench, not playing
Bregman's
much.
Jewish. He should have played for Israel.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's about the logic, though. He could say that.
Sandy Koufax probably could pitch for Israel right now.
Right now.
But here's what the World Baseball Classic does to try to make this truly global and somewhat competitive, because we've seen how unwell this works in women's hockey at the Olympics when it's the U.S. and Canada as the only 2 countries that really matter and can compete at a high level. So the World Baseball Classic said, well, if you're born there, yeah, you can compete for that country. Yeah. But if you have lineage and could become a citizen of that country through your parents or grandparents,
then you can play there?
You could play for that country and represent them. Yep.
One of the great stories to me is I don't know his first name, Arozarena. When you have a name like Arozarena, that's enough. But Arozarena sent either a tweet or some type of personal message to the president at the time. It was the guy with the long name right before Scheinbaum. We'll get to her in a moment. Saying, hey, I would like to achieve citizenship because I want to play baseball for Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. And they immediately looked at his lifetime batting average and extended citizenship. Rosarina, a huge fan favorite, signing autographs during the game, very passionate, typical Latino ball player.
Let's be clear what this is. This is Major League Baseball's willingness and wanting to showcase all of its talent, and this is the only way they can do it, because Randy Rosarina can't play for U.S. because the team is so stacked. Apparently, he could have played for him last night and probably helped him.
Yeah.
Fell behind 8-0 to Italy.
Hard to do.
And the Italian team, granted, a lot of them are Americans. There aren't that many major leagers. There's like I think a half dozen prospects.
They had
were
some
involved
guy
in
that
that
hadn't
game
pitched
yesterday.
in like 5 years pitched the other night.
So
should I be offended? John Anderson, great friend of the show, great friend of mine off the air, Brent Anderson's brother. I'm going to read this to you as he wrote it, and you tell me if I should be offended. Can you go up one click? John says, on a side note, what last name would you give a man named Jim that's really good at tumbling and somersaults? And he writes, Nastics, as in his full name would be Jim Nastics, i.e., gymnastics with a G.
Spelling it out for you.
I'm like, not only does he give me a horrible joke, he takes the time to explain it to me 2 different ways as if I wouldn't understand.
You might not have. That's the thing. He might not. You might not have got it.
Thanks for that, John. I call that the John Anderson humility invoking joke of the day. So wait, Callie Fromme says, think of the dysfunctional life that the unwanted child born to said transgender man-woman would suffer. Yeah, no, it's terrible. That's right. That's why
you're doing what you're doing.
I will provide at my pure expense. I will fly you to California where they will gladly give you transgender abortion counseling if you are pregnant, sir. Yeah.
I don't think it's just baseball, P. Strauss. I think it's pretty much any sport these days.
There's a lot of parity in sports these days.
Yeah, and that's what they want. That's what the leagues want, because it keeps you. How about the Max Crosby deal? We'll switch to the NFL real quickly. The Cowboys were all in. They offered up, I think, a first and a second round draft pick. That wasn't good enough. Ravens gave up 2 first rounders. Raiders said, okay, you can have Max Crosby. Here we are on Wednesday. The deal went down on Friday, and now all of a sudden the Ravens are saying, well, he's damaged goods. We're not going to make the trade anymore.
So do you think that he failed the physical?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Interesting. So the Cowboys don't give another first rounder to put him on our sideline. Yeah.
Which makes no sense. You had the best defensive tackle or end in the game. You didn't want to pay him. So then you're willing to go and get the second best defensive end in the game and overpay for him.
You know, P. Strauss, you're right that any team can beat any team on any given day, but that's always also been, since that's the truth, it's always been that way, which is why they played 162 games, because over the long haul, you find out who the best team is. I find it amazing that you could go play, Dodgers could go play and win, 140 games. And the Padres could win 88 games. And the Padres could come in as a wild card into the playoffs and end up beating the Dodgers and end up winning the World Series. When I get it, we needed expansion. I get it, people wanted to see more games. But the game suffered, in my opinion, through expansion. And it's always been a problem. It's always been a problem. I remember when they were expanding teams back in the 80s, people said, Steve Carlton said, we're going to run out of pitchers. Well, we certainly have run out of pitchers. Most teams have an ace. The good teams have a really good number 2 starter. And then after that, you've got guys that you pray every night can go 15-15 and get you 5 innings. Am I wrong?
No.
The reality
It's kind
is,
of always been that way, though. You always had a good number 1. You had a decent number 2. You had a lefty you hope would win every third start.
right?
And then you had a fourth guy who was a prospect.
Yeah. It was good to see Andy Pettit run out onto the field last night a couple of times. Andy looks like he could still give you 5 innings.
Andy should have been on the mound yesterday. He couldn't have done any worse.
Yeah. Jonathan Williams says Rosarina got all butthurt because Cal Raleigh didn't shake his hand pre-at-bat. You know, the reality of that is the Latin player is so firebrand, so emotional. The Astros have done a better job than anybody of managing the Latin player. We don't have the craziness. What's that crazy dude's name that plays right field for the Garcia, that plays right field for the Rangers? Guy's a nut job. These are the kind of people that you never know. Honestly, they're going to take a vial and go out there and set themselves on fire in the outfield. You don't know. Like Glenn Davis when he was with the Astros back in the 80s. The dude was always on suicide watch. They go, Glenn, how are you today? Suicidal. The guy was a nut.
He wasn't Latin American.
No, he was just a nut. You don't have those cycles. So you don't have to be Latin American to be a nut. And just because you're Latin American doesn't make you a nut. But where they cross, you're probably a Major League Baseball player. Yeah. Jonathan Williams says, then there are the Dodgers. The only team that this American team couldn't beat in a 7-game series is the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
I think the Dodgers could beat them.
And I think that's part of what happens with Major League Baseball when you play a 1-game playoff, a 3-game playoff series.
Coin flip. Might as well just flip a coin and drink beer.
I mean, they've set it up for upsets to happen because they don't want what happened in the course of 162 games to typically play out in the playoffs.
It keeps everybody engaged, right? And that way when your team wins that freak playoff, then that brings in a whole fan base. And when your team loses in extra innings to a walk-off homer, then you're so mad that you stay engaged in the next series. And that's what baseball wants.
Well, because we want to see, did we lose to the eventual champs or did we just lose to the next team that lost and now our season really sucked even though we won 162 games?
But it goes back to the purity of the sport. It may be a great product to watch on television, but like I go back to, I thought it was utter nonsense that when, what was the gentleman's name? Nice guy. Had the bad leg, wanted to play on the PGA Tour. Casey Martin.
Yeah, Casey Martin.
Casey Martin.
Kirk Gibson.
I thought that the PGA Tour should absolutely have absolute control over their protocol, over their rules, over how they play their game. You must walk. And they say, the ignorant people said, it's just golf. Walking doesn't tire you out. You go walk 18 holes.
They don't carry the bag.
No, but
walk the caddy.
Walk 18 holes even with a caddy.
Because what is it? Well, I mean, the average golfer walks about 5 miles in a round of golf.
Yeah.
I'm sure the PGA player walks about 2 because they don't hit it as wayward as the average golfer.
Absolutely. You got to wonder, how much longer could, for example, no kidding, how much longer could Jack Nicklaus have played on the main tour if he could have taken a cart?
Yeah.
But the government got involved and said, oh, you're discriminating. Well, I'm discriminating. I make the rule. Okay, look, I'm a pretty decent hitter, but my knee hurts. You're my designated runner. You stand in the left-hand box, and I'll hit the ball, and then you run for me. Baseball would say King's X, and I would say discrimination.
Well, you want another take on what Congress is doing with college athletics. It could open Pandora's box for Congress getting involved in all pro sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. Still 3 golf courses here, John Anderson. Yep. Jennifer Rayburn coming in with an equally weak joke, saying if the Latin player, who's the crazy player, would that be exclusively a Brazil nut? Jennifer adds, I also hate when teams frame others' wins and losses to determine their own positioning. I get it. I just don't like it. Either you're number one or you're not. Who cares about other teams?
College football is probably the worst for that. Well, we beat so-and-so this week, and then they beat this team that week, and so that means we're better than both of them.
The transitive win.
Yeah,
I did see one the other day. Like, I'll admit this. I mean, I'm a Texas graduate. I'm a Texas fan. I care. I do. I don't know. I think the men got beat are having to play in the SEC tournament. I think we're down bottom 3rd in the rankings. I think we have a losing record in the SEC. The Aggies, I think, are 11-7 in the SEC, something like that. I might have made that number up, but something like a little over 50-50. I saw a meme the other day where they said he came in, he was the last coach hired, he missed the portal, he got to recruit nobody. He was predicted to go 11th, and they went 4th. And they put that up like that's a victory. Yay, we're number 4. We're number 4. I'm not saying you don't privately use that as some type of consolation, or you don't say to your buddies, if you're the athletic director, oh man, we were picked to go 13th, but coach did a good job. We finished 4th. But you don't brag about we defied the odds, because all you're really doing is showing that the pundits didn't know anything.
Yeah. No, we're not referring to that, Jonathan. USA needs Italy to win or Mexico to win while scoring 5+ runs to make the quarterfinal round of the World Baseball Classic. Italy and Mexico play today. I think that's the last game in their pool.
I've got a bet for anybody. I'll bet you Mexico scores more than 5 runs. Anybody want some of it? I think they're averaging.
Conspiracy theorists will go nuts if they win 4-1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Folks, I hear the bell from the church. It is the top of the hour. We love you guys. Hope you have a great day. Go be safe on the roads. The roads are wet. Expect some rain starting about now. God bless you all, and we will see you mañana.
Bye, folks.